TKO Boxing with Sherry Abbasi. We are in Rochdale today at Knockout Kitchen, and I'm joined by Mohammed Ali. Mohammed, first of all, assalamu alaikum, bro. I hope you're well. Thank you for giving us a bit of your time today. First of all, how are you and how's the prep going for your upcoming fight in October?
Alhamdulillah, very, very well. I want to thank you for coming today. I hope you've enjoyed your food and your visit here. Preparations are going very, very well. I can't wait for October 4th. I get to create history, becoming the first Type 1 diabetic boxing champion in the world. So I can't wait for 4th of October. Everything's going perfectly well.
Mohammed, obviously we touched on off camera quite a lot of different topics about your life, about your boxing career, things in and outside the ring. Can you just start off simply telling me how you got involved in the sport of boxing? Did you have much of an amateur background? What created the sort of passion and the love for the sport for you that led to you essentially following this as a full-time career?
So as a youngster, I was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes at the age of 4, going on to 5.
Wow.
And my nurse, Jo, she became friends with my mother and father and educated, because in our family we've not had diabetes before. So we're new to the family, it was a shock. And she said to me, Mum and Dad, get me involved in sport. And the reason you've got to get me involved in sport is it'll help, with this diet, keeping a balanced diet, and his sugar levels will stay stable. And my mum and dad got me involved in football. So each week when we'd play, sometimes we'd lose, sometimes we'd win. But when we'd lose, I was very competitive, and I'd blame other players. It was because they're such a body. We got beat today, and I'd moan, and my dad's like hot-headed, and he'd be like, do you never shut up about, blaming other people? So I said to my dad, I want to get into boxing. And I was like, look, you're type 1 diabetic. I can't, afford you, getting any other illnesses. Look at Muhammad Ali, the greatest of all time. Look at him, he's got Parkinson's. And my, counter to that was, look, we can be walking out in the road and get knocked over by a car. Does that stop 99.9% of the world from walking out in the road? And he was just like, look, I've told you, you're not doing no boxing. So he put me into karate, but in karate there was no competition. So I'd always moaned, at home. So at that time, Naz was on everyone's television, and I wouldn't say because of Naz, I took a goodbye hiding off my mum and dad as well. Do you remember Sky Box Office? So you click select.
And you're buying the pay-per-view.
And we'd buy the pay-per-view. And the bill had come, Monday morning. So that'd be on the Saturday night. Monday morning bills come in. Mum and dad are itching their heads like, where's this bill come from? We'd be like, we ordered the boxing on the weekend. And we were only young kids, 7, 8 years old. And social services can't get involved now, but my mum and dad had leathered us. Me and my brother, we'd take a hiding. And Naz was around Ricky Hatton. We went to watch Costa Zoo versus Ricky Hatton.
Live, you went to the arena?
Yeah, wow. So my dad, we had a season ticket at Old Trafford. My dad had us going every weekend, being involved in sport. He didn't want us hanging out on the streets. He wanted us away, from Rochdale, a bit of a rough town. And he wanted us on the right track. And we'd go up every weekend. So Ricky Hatton and Costa Zoo, what hit the hair on my spine, if I had any hair back then, stood up. It was American time. Costa Zoo agreed to fight Ricky Hatton if they had it the American timing. And they shut the arena at 12 a.m. so you couldn't enter or leave. And it was American time. I think the fight were at 2 a.m. And wow, did Manchester get behind Ricky Hatton. What an amazing fight, when Costa Zoo retired in the 11th round. And, what a night. It was an amazing night. And that's what really got me into boxing. Then Amir Khan going to the Olympics. Wow, Great Britain got behind him. Do you remember everyone waving the Union Jack? All of England got behind him, and the reception he received when he came back home. And I boxed for Bury Amateur Boxing Club, and that's where he, Mick Jelly was his head coach, and he used to come in, visit us in the gym. You can see the pictures on the walls.
Yeah.
And Amir's a absolute legend. Winning the Olympic medal at 17, and then going on to win a world title at 22. We don't hear it of in this day and age now, do we? And legends, it's because of Amir got you know, took up boxing. And then I was training out of a club in Rochdale, Hamer Boxing Club. And my mum sneaked me to the gym. So in karate, when my dad took us out of football, put me and my brother into karate. I think my brother lasted about a year in karate. He didn't like it, gave up on sport. I was still there, to keep my sugar levels in good control, and didn't like karate. So I did it. I didn't like it, but I did it for 10 years. For 10 years, my dad had me in there just to control, my diabetes, and my mum made a plan with us. Said, "Mum, look, Amir Khan. Look at how the country's got behind him. Ronaldo newly moved in at Old Trafford. Then Nani, Ronaldo, and Anderson. Do you remember that?
Yeah,
when they moved in
2008.
at Old Trafford, and at that time the capacity, I think it's 80 plus thousand now. Around then it was 60 plus, and taking out the away fans, just say 55,000 fans cheering for Cristiano at that time. Stood this hair on my spine. It was like, wow, I'd like to do something like this in my life. And my mum sneaking me to the boxing gym now. We made a deal, said, behave at school, my mum said. Get the teacher to ring your father, telling him that you've been good at school. And I'll say, look, he's good at school. You should take him to the boxing gym, reward him. And 2 weeks in at the boxing gym, and Stephen, the head coach, he said, I'd like to speak to your father. So I'm itching my head now. My dad doesn't know I'm going to the boxing gym. He's at work. And my mum, is taking me to the gym. So I've gone outside. Mum, coach wants to speak to dad. She's like, wow, how are we going to put it to him? Just leave it to me. So gone home, and mum said, look, teacher's rang. He's been good at school. And he's like, yeah. She said, I've been taking him to the boxing gym. And he's like, but I said, don't take him there. And she said, but he's good at school, so I wanted to reward him. So the coach wants to speak to you as well. So we've gone to the boxing gym, and he said, look, he's good enough to do his medical and compete. And my dad watched me train, and he said, yeah, happy days. So we did my medical. Doctors had passed me, said you're healthy and everything fit, good to go. But England Boxing declined my licence, and that's where boxing came to an end again. So I got involved in football, and started playing under 15s, football, and then went over to Bury Amateur Boxing Club. Remember Mick Jelly, meeting him for the first time, inspired. He's Amir Khan's coach, and told him, look, this is what's happened. I can't get my license. Can you help me? He said, I can help you get your license, but I don't want to hear a sob story. I want to see if you can actually fight. So he's put me in with one of the lads, got me sparring, and I did well. And he said, I'll help you get your licence. And I got my licence when I was 17. So I didn't get to box as a junior, as a youth. I got thrown in at the deep end, and won. Started winning. So I had 34 amateur fights, won 29. I won the Haringey Box Cup. I won the Celtic Box Cup, University Championships, and then turned pro. And my licence got declined again without any reason, just for me being type 1 diabetic. But the thing, what hurt me, and I found, was discrimination at the time. If my diabetes were in control, then there's a reason to decline my licence. But I was just given a one-line sentence, due to being type 1 diabetic, we can't grant you a licence. And that wasn't sufficient enough for me. That was.
Did you feel it should have been based off them seeing you perform and how you are, rather than just seeing that on a piece of paper and saying, oh no?
Yeah, not even that. My medicals have been passed. I'm medically fine. Why shouldn't I get my licence? Could you give me a reason? If I'm medically fit, healthy, had 30 plus fights in the amateurs, no problems, why shouldn't I be given a licence?
What did they say?
There was no response. It was just like, we've never had a type 1 diabetic boxer. Then what's happened is I've got in touch with my consultant like I did in the amateurs, but I understand it from his perspective as well. So the doctor said, look, Ali, you're fit, you're healthy. The same old story, you're fit, you're healthy, you should get your licence, but I'm not willing to put my neck on the line, which is understandable. He's got family to feed. The reason he's not willing to put his neck on the line, you know, if something happens to me and says you end up suing me or the boxing board,
Yeah.
I'm in trouble. I lose my job. So he understood that. And then it was just a few years. I went into, you know, this is how we opened Knockout Kitchen then. You know, I was seeing lads train. For example, Shane Singleton, what I was telling you earlier, seeing him with the meal preps, and gave the idea to my mum, and we started it here, and now, you know, doing very, very well, you know, with the business. And it was a 3-year battle, you know, getting my professional boxing license then, and got a legal team involved, you know, reaching out to the boxing board, and me going see my consultants, you know, begging them to send a letter across to the board, but they weren't doing it. So I got frustrated, I remember, with my doctor, and said, like, why are you my doctor when you can't help me? You know, you can't help me. You know, what's the point of me and you going back and forth? Why am I coming in for these? Because as a diabetic, you've got to get your bloods checked every 3 to 4 months. Now, why am I coming to you to check my bloods every 3 to 4 months when you can't give me an helping hand? And he was like, even he was itching his head. He said, you know what, Ali, I'm going to send you to a doctor at Royal Berkshire Hospital, you know, over in London. And he works with Sir Steve Redgrave. So he's out in the open sea. 5-time Olympic gold medalist. He's a rower. He's retired now. Would you know Sir Steve?
I've heard the name, yeah.
Yeah. So he's a 5-time Olympic gold medalist, type 1 diabetic. The paramedics are up in the air, so it'll probably take them 30 minutes if he suffers a hypo or, you know, a seizure or anything. And whereas my argument was the doctors are sat ringside, probably take them 10 seconds to get in the ring.
And check on you or something, yeah.
Yeah. And that was my argument. And he said, look, I'll put you in touch with the doctor who works with Sir Steve Redgrave. He'll be able to help you. I was like, okay. So I booked an appointment to London for 9 o'clock in the morning. I live 4 hours away, and I thought, the receptionist said, 9 o'clock in the morning, are you sure you're going to get here for 9? Why don't you make it at lunchtime? But in my head was, I'm going to hear the same old story. Oh, we're not willing to put our neck on the line, and I'll go out shopping, touring London. You know, that was my plan. So I've gone, right, and the doctor said, Ali, you are fit and healthy. I want to be part of your story. I'm going to get you your license. And the argument was, within that minute, they can't take my glove off, prick my finger, put it on a blood strip, and rewrap my gloves and to check my sugar levels. They need to see my sugar levels in between each round. And he said, do you see the sensor I showed you before? So I'm an ambassador for Abbott's. So the Freestyle Libre sensor, he showed it me. He said, look, within 3 seconds, you get live sugar level results on your mobile device. So, you know, he sent a letter across the board to the board saying we can check his sugar levels every 3 seconds. They said if you can prove that to us, he'll get his license as long as he passes his medical. But I don't want to skip the story, it gets more interesting. So got you know, my advisor at the time, his friend works with the Daily Mail, so he said, right, we're going to take this nationally, and it'll probably go internationally. I think Joshua were boxing Takam or Povetkin. It were one of them.
2018.
I think, yeah. I think it was...
End of 2017. October 2017.
17. It was not October, it was around March time.
2017?
Yeah.
That'd have been Joshua Klitschko then?
No. Joshua Klitschko.
April 2017 that was. You on about Joshua Parker then? That's March 2018.
What? Yeah, that's when it was.
Yeah.
Joshua Parker, it was 18, sorry. So what's happened is, he said, you've got to go there with the banners and, you know, about the British Board of Boxing Control Secretary, you know, the head man, Robert Smith, you know, that you should give you your licence and, you know, you're fit, you're healthy, doctors have signed you off, and we gave leaflets out to people. Now, when we got there, we went there as a family, friends, about 10 of us went, and over 10,000 people there joined me. Joshua were driving into his fight. He had me on his Snapchat. Joshua's father come out and said, look, you should be getting your license. Do you know, I'm going to help you. Robert Smith come out and said, look, in 2 weeks' time, we'll have an interview. You pass your medicals. So, you know, you'll get your license. So we went up to the, it was a hotel. I think it was a travel lodge over in Wales again. So we had to go back to Wales. And we all sat down, British Border Boxing Controller there. I'm sat on my side with my doctor and you know, solicitor, advisors. You know, we're all sat on our side, and we spoke with the board, and they said, you know, we're happy to give you your license. Just shocked about the technology. The shock they were in, I was in shock. I didn't know there was such technology where, you know, you look at your mobile device and your sugar levels are there. I was used to pricking my fingers. So it's helped me massively as well, controlling my health in a better condition. And I did my medical 2 weeks later and created history, becoming the first type 1 diabetic professional boxer, and opened the door, you know, for other type 1s, and there's many type 1 diabetic boxers out there. So, you know, I'm very grateful, you know, for opening the door, you know, for other type 1s.
So you essentially are a trailblazer for type 1
Absolutely.
diabetes individuals to enter the sport of boxing.
Yeah.
How many? Do you know how many there are now?
I think there's 3 or 4.
Still, it's quite a lot, even considering.
Absolutely, yes.
And I know you said your family didn't have any previous history. How? Like, to me, it sounds mad to hear like a 4-year-old kid. How did they find out you had diabetes? Well, what led to the diagnosis?
So what happened was, it was a hot summer's day, and my dad was at work, and I'm very hyperactive. I'm playing in the back garden, and my mum's cooking, and she seen me playing up. I was having a hypoglycemia where my sugar levels had dropped, but I wasn't diagnosed with type 1. And I was suffering from a hypo where basically you fainted. And I was acting, you know, I didn't have control over my body, and my mum panicked. My mum was young. My mum was new to the country. Like, we talk about it now.
Very scary experience
my
for
her. Honestly, she's done so much for me. And, you know, at the time, my mum was new to the country. And she says mental health is, you know, a big illness now. And back then she said, me and your dad suffer from mental health. And I said, what do you mean? And she said, people think we gave you too many sweets, jelly babies and toffees and cakes and chocolates, that you became type 1 diabetic, but it was through hereditary. And she said we had to hide out of public. People have pulled us up saying, what have you done to your son? And
Ignorance, isn't it?
Yeah, not an understanding. And, you know, obviously our culture's a bit different as well. And my mum said, like, we wouldn't take you out in public places. We had to hide you, because we'd get pulled up by someone saying, you know, you've made him ill. And it wasn't my mum and dad, it's in the bloodline, I think. My mother's father was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes late on in life, and I think she was a carrier, because my dad's side haven't got diabetes, but my mum's side does. So I think my mum was a carrier, and I was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes, and it doesn't stop me from doing anything in life, guys. I want to give a message out there. Do you know, no matter what, not just boxing, not just the sporting world, any profession you want to enter in life, don't give up. You know, surround yourself around good people. Sit down, seek advice. Because I could have sat in bed, you know, cried away and said my life's come to an end. But I chose to reach out to people. You know, speak with my doctor. You know, get him to refer me to higher, you know, people than his position. And here I am, creating history for the first time, becoming a type 1 diabetic professional boxer. And now October 4th, I'll create history by becoming the first type 1 diabetic champion. And I just want to give, you know, not just diabetes, you know, any underlying health condition you're suffering from in life, be it mental health, asthma, blood pressure, guys, you know, it don't stop you from becoming a pilot, a teacher, anything in life. Just like I said, get help from people, and goals are achievable. You know, in the word impossible is the word possible. You know, don't give up in life, guys. And I'd like to give a message out there to all the parents. Get your children involved in sport. You know, not to become like the next Samir Khan, Muhammad Ali or Wayne Rooney or, you know, whichever heroes out there. Do you know, just to learn life skills, you know, making new friends, you know, discipline, respecting your elders, you know, hygiene, wearing clean clothes, you know, sports teach you a lot of life skills, and they're very, very important, you know, getting your children involved at a young age. They make new friends, they know how to socialise with one another, and that's like I said, you know, get your children involved in sport, it helps massively.
Very well put, Mohammed. Okay, just to touch on your professional career so far, Mohammed, 15-0, undefeated so far, alhamdulillah. And just wanted to know, how would you sort of describe your pro journey so far since you turned over in 2018?
Yes, so as I was telling you off camera, it took me 3 years to get my professional boxing license. Then COVID happened, and I had another 2 to 3 years off because of having an underlying health condition. There were government rules that I can't be going in public places, so it's been a bit of a frustration, you know, the boxing journey. But you know, they say the ones who stay in, you know, come out on top, and I've just stayed, you know, attached to the sport, you know, just learning each and every day, enjoying the journey. You know, boxing is an amazing journey. You have your ups and downs, but that's life in a nutshell.
In terms of your style and how you fight, how would you just describe your style to the people who haven't yet seen you perform?
I think I'm exciting, fan-friendly style. So come out and support me on October 4th. Come out and watch me.
And if you could describe your style in terms of like to another active fighter right now, people know, who would you sort of say you've taken things from potentially?
Yeah, so Amir Khan, you know, fast stands. I watch like your Ricky Attons, your Nassim Ahmeds, as you've seen on the pictures, Mike Tyson's. I take little bits and bats from everybody. So I've got an exciting, fan-friendly style.
And what would you, in your own opinion, say is your best attribute so far in your career? Because I'm sure you'll develop more, but what would you say right now has been your best attribute thus far?
My best attribute so far has been winning. Yeah, winning.
It doesn't have to be physical. It could be, you know, your ring IQ or whatever.
I don't know. That's a great question. I've never been asked that question. I'd say speed. Yeah.
Saturday, October 4th.
Yeah.
You take on Indabasi, Pakistan versus India,
Yeah.
WBC Asia welterweight title.
Yeah.
Talk to me about how this opportunity came about. It's on a Black Flash Promotions card as well. Talk to me about how the opportunity came about and how it was pitched to you. And was the India-Pakistan thing something that was sort of, it was built around that, or was that something that just came up because you both happened to be?
No, it just came up. An opportunity came up. So, do you know my manager, Uncle Pat Barrett? So I call Uncle. You know, he's not my biological uncle, but out of respect, he's one man of his word. We sat down 2 years ago on a table like this, and he said, Ali, we will create history together. You've just got to win, and we'll create history together. And he's a man of his word. He promised me a title shot, and now we're here. You know, two years on, I'll be creating history on the 4th of October. So I was originally boxing an Indian from India, but I don't know what went wrong. And Indabasi now I'm boxing, you know, on the 4th. So it's a great opportunity. It's about promoting integration. You know, there's no trouble amongst us. You know, he's a fellow South Asian, British South Asian, and he's a great boxer. And you know, may the best man win on the night.
That was actually the next thing I was going to ask you, was about, in a time and a day and age where we see a lot of, you know, negativity.
Yeah.
There's lines being drawn which aren't necessarily by the people of those communities, but we're being forced into that by government, higher powers, whatever.
Yeah.
How important is it that, you know, in particular in a year where there have been issues between India and Pakistan, and, you know, the tensions have been rising, and alhamdulillah right now they seem to have, you know, calmed down. How important is it that an event like this is more about just a general rivalry and a bit of fun and just sport, rather than making it something deeper rooted?
Absolutely. Like you said, it's about having fun. It's a sports event. You know, we're going to have a boxing match, and it's about the fans, you know, enjoying a great sporting event. So all my fans, I've told them, you know, who are coming from Rochdale, Manchester, up and down the country, enjoy a great event. You know, everybody get along together. Let's show the higher powers, you know, we get along with one another. You know, there is no trouble. And it's about promoting integration. You know, we're from deprived countries, and let's show, you know, that we can come together and be good human beings. You know, it's about promoting positivity, and you know, with me myself, there's no animosity. We're both boxers, and a boxing match has come about, and it's for a great prestigious title for the WBC, and I want to create history, show that, you know, someone living with with a underlying health condition can go on to achieve, you know, big goals. You know, big opportunities are going to come for me after this fight.
Definitely, I think that message of positivity will resonate with a lot of people, and that's what I thought it was important to touch on that, because, you know, there's bigger things going on in the world, not just about boxing. No disrespect to yourself or India, but it's there's bigger things happening in the world that we have to sort of give a bit of respect to as well. Moving on from that, yourself as a boxing fan, obviously you've grown up being in sports and stuff.
Yeah.
You go to a lot of boxing matches, like you said. What has been your read on the boxing scene in the last year or two? We've got some mega fights, you know, multiple undisputed title fights in so many different divisions. What has been the standout fight that you've attended in the last few years, and who is the best boxer in the world right now, in your opinion, and why?
The best boxer for me right now in the world, it's a tough one. Look, there's Usyk, who's done, you know, two-weight undisputed champion. You know, you've got to give him credit. He's a heavyweight. I like Terence Crawford. He's cleaned up, you know, a few weight divisions. Is this going to be his?
This will be his third attempt out. Yeah, undisputed.
Undisputed. Yeah. So there's Inoue. There's like the four lightweight kings. You know, like Yishko Stevenson, Teofimo, Javante Davis, Haney. Did I mention Teofimo Lopez?
Yeah, you said right.
Haney, like you said. Do you know, boxing's, do you know, His Excellency Turkey El Sheikh has, you know, changed landscape of boxing. For me, right now, look, I'm going to be open with you. Terence Crawford has got to be, you know, one of the greats up there right now. There's Usyk, Inoue, but Terence Crawford's got to be up there. But I'm a massive fan of Canelo.
Who isn't?
You know, but Crawford, you know, like skill-wise, ring generalship, you know, knocking people out, you know, you can't go against Crawford. He's undefeated as well. So is Usyk, so is Inoue, but
you prefer Crawford out of three?
Crawford, yeah, I've got to give Crawford. There's Dimitri Bivol out there as well. Look what a performance he put on against Arthur as well. That was a great performance. Jai Pataya's out there as well. You know, Jai's
he's good.
A great fighter as well. I think he's just falling short on, you know, with Ramirez getting injured. I don't know what's happening with Buddy Jack. He's got a title and he's desperate, you know.
He wants to unify and
but
go undisputed.
he's not getting that opportunity.
And mandatory's coming in the way of everything, unfortunately.
That's the dark side
Politics.
of boxing. Yeah, that's the dark side. And boxing's just thriving, isn't it? Especially for the heavyweights in the United Kingdom. You know, you've got like your Toma, your Dylan White, Derek Chisora, Joseph Parker, Joshua Fury. The list goes on and on, you know, with these fights in Britain, you know, for the heavyweights. So boxing right now is booming, and it's all, you know, thank you to His Excellency, you know, Turkey El Sheikh. And the fight, for me, the best atmosphere in a fight I've attended has got to be Joshua and Klitschko. You know, the atmosphere. Did you go to that fight?
No, I was actually in Thailand. I missed it. But
that fight
I watched it.
The atmosphere was.
But you could tell that was different.
amazing.
Yeah.
As a skill set, like Khan Canelo was a great. The atmosphere in there was amazing as well. But for skill wise and for a smaller man, each round to pick the pace up till the last bell has got to be Usyk versus Fury, the second fight. Honestly, I don't know how Usyk was switching them gears. You know, every round he just got
He gets stronger and stronger. It's crazy, isn't it?
Stronger. He did it in the fight against Joshua as well. Usyk did. I think it was round 9 where Joshua hurt him.
The body, and then round 10 onwards, he just ran away with it.
We thought he's going to slow down now, and he's come out a different man.
Battered him around 10.
Different energy. He raised his game, and Usyk's phenomenal. Do you know him, Crawford, Inoue, Canelo, Bivol, Artur.
So many good fighters right now.
Against Jai Pataya, you can't go against them guys. You know, like there's I like that Brian Norman as well. Now,
yeah, he's good left hook, dangerous puncher.
Yeah, I like that Abdullah Mason.
Yeah,
you know, he's got a good fight against our Sam Noakes, is it?
Yes.
Yeah, that's gonna be a great
November.
fight.
Yeah.
There's a lot of Adam Azims, Shabazz Massoud, Abdul Khans, Hamza Shiraz, Belanga fight. That was amazing. You know, boxing's just booming at the minute. Enjoying watching it. With the platform like DAZN as well, all the fights are on one channel, so we've not got to switch channels, have we, to watch the boxing?
Majority of the big fights happen there. Yeah.
The Netflix comes time to time now, doesn't it?
Yeah. But at least they're putting on big fights.
Yeah.
You've spoken very highly of Terence Crawford there. Obviously, it would be wrong of me not to ask the question. How would you view him against Canelo in terms of what would be the best way for him to win that fight? Because it's a big ass jumping up two weight divisions.
He's looking big, innit? He's looking big in size. Is he gonna be able to move with putting that size, the mass
That's
on?
the question, isn't it?
That's what I think it's going to come down to. It'd be silly for him to fight on the inside with Canelo.
No, yeah.
It'd be silly. So we'd expect him to move around, but putting that mass on, is it going to slow his legs down? Will he be able to hold that movement for 12 rounds? Let's go back to the Charlo fight. You were saying, I'm, feeling good at 12 stones, because every boxer cuts weight. I'm feeling good at 12 stone, but then
he didn't do anything.
He couldn't move. He couldn't carry that mass, could he?
No.
He just ran, for 12 rounds, with Canelo. Canelo's, I know he started off at the lighter weights, but he's been campaigning at 12 stone or 11.6 and plus for the past, 10 years? It's been a very, very long time. I remember when he fought Amir, and that they said middleweight, but it was at
155, wasn't it?
Yeah, 155.
He had about 4 fights at 155, then he moved up.
They were classing it as middleweight, weren't they?
Dragging up smaller fighters. Yeah, unfortunately. But so for Crawford, what would be the key for him to actually get the win?
Look, Lara gave him trouble.
Yeah.
Lara. What's his name?
Trout
Bivol
as well.
Bivol. Who did he mention?
Austin Trout. He gave him a tough fight, but Canelo won. But
Caleb Plant gave him a tough fight.
Caleb Plant,
Danny Jacobs stood with him in the pocket. He gave a tough fight. Canelo is beatable. Obviously, his record says that. But can a smaller man
move up 2 weight classes?
Move up. Putting a stone on, half stone to a stone, and
pull it off. Yeah.
Pull it off. I don't know how's his punch resistance going to be. Putting the mass on, maybe it might be better. But I can't see him fighting on the inside or in the.
Wouldn't
pocket.
be,
It won't be
advised, ill-advised.
Yeah. Don't forget, Canelo's only 5'8" or 9.
Yeah, he's not big.
And he's not.
He's stocky, but he's not tall.
Yeah, he's a tank. And Crawford's probably taller, but like we said, he's
not naturally as thick set as a Canelo.
Big, thick set in a Canelo. Oh, that's a question mark. Is he natural?
I'm not going to say anything. But yeah, no, fair enough. I mean, super fight, the fight that everyone's going to tune in for. The last thing I wanted to ask you was more about, again, we've spoken a bit about, your background, things you're into. You've touched on your life as a child, what you had to go through. You've come through a lot of adversity. What would you... I've already given a message about, positivity and getting your kids into sports and stuff. I wanted to know, as a human being, it doesn't have to be related to boxing, do you have a favourite quote or a mantra or something that you can look back on, or a few quotes or mantras that you could list and say, I'll live my life by these things? Yeah. It could be even a religious thing, but just something that you look at and say, yeah, this is what I look to when I need motivation or things like that.
I don't know which surah it is now from the Quran, but with every hardship comes ease. I'm a big believer of that. In the word impossible is the word possible, and every goal is achievable. If you reach out, to the right people. Today they might not respond to you. Tomorrow they may respond to you. I like speaking to people to connect me with other people. Networking is very important. Very important. Look, I've met Shani, through a good friend Chris. And then through Shani, I've just met you. It's just about...
Even though me and you've had each other on social media for ages.
Yeah, absolutely. But we've never gone back and forth.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just about speaking, networking. Allah, God's given us a mouth, to use and utilise in the right manner. If you do it, things can come off.
And I think that for me, like you said about us, for example, we've had each other on social media for a long time. Yeah. I've always, liked your stuff, you like my stuff. We never actually had a conversation for whatever reason. Yeah. But I think... I enjoy the conversation with people, because you can always learn something. Now today, whatever it may be, I might not be able to pinpoint it right now. I'm going to learn something from this interaction today from you. Whether I learn something about you or learn something that teaches me something about myself, whatever it could be. That's the beauty of conversation,
absolutely. I think. You've just nailed it there. I like sitting in person rather than, hey, how you doing? On Instagram or on your Twitter. I'd rather sit face to face and have a conversation with you over a dinner table.
Yes.
and see what you are about, you know, in reality. You know, you can put a persona on social media, you know, act like somebody else, but when you sat face to face, it's a whole different story and a different ball game. And yeah, I like sitting face to face. We've had a great time. We've been, and my missus is going to beat me up when I get home. Where have you been? You know, I finished S&C at 5:30, and what time is it now?
8:30 or something?
It's 8:30. Yeah,
3 hours,
so
bloody hell.
3 hours, and we ain't stopping anytime soon, are we? We ain't stopping now.
No. Listen, I think it's probably the perfect time to wrap up.
Is that David A's song?
Ain't no stopping us now. Yeah. That was his tune, his entrance tune.
I went to that Audley Harrison fight. Wow, now I know why they got rid of scrap pay-per-view boxing.
Yeah, that was 16 years ago, man, a long time ago. Is there anything else you'd like to say to the people before your fight in October?
Guys, I'm going to create history, and like I said, goals are achievable. Reach out to the right people and speak out. You know, if you've got any struggles in life, speak out and you can overcome hurdles in life. And on October 4th, guys, I become the WBC Asia champion. Come out and support me, you know, 4th of October. And you'll be seeing me on television very, very soon. It's about keeping positive and achieving your goals, you know, working hard.
One last thing before we wrap up, can you just plug your social media? Where can people find you on Instagram and Twitter?
Yes, so on Instagram, Mohammed DK Ali, all one word. So DK, before anyone starts saying X, Y, and Z, stands for Diabetic Kid. On Facebook, Mohammed Ali. On X, Mohammed Ali Box 1. You've got to put the one.
Yeah.
Box has got to put that at the end, haven't they? And that's me on social media. Yeah, guys, reach out to me. You know, get behind me. I appreciate everyone's support. And share this interview, guys, and follow Sherry as well. Does great work, and a very likable person. Doesn't ask dull questions. They're all good questions. You won't get bored of him. I've only been here 3 hours.
Thank you for the plug as well, Mohammed, and best of luck on October the 4th.
Thank you.
And afterwards, we'll definitely be catching up with you again. Yeah.
100%.
Thank you, bro.
Absolutely.
Appreciate